Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a new Star Wars game that's being worked on by Respawn Entertainment, and it's going to be published by EA, naturally. Now, initially, I thought that this game had been revealed for the first time last year during EA Play, when they had essentially panned the camera over to the crowd in the middle of their press conference, and Vince Zampella was there. And he was just like, yeah, we're working on a new Star Wars game. It's called Jedi Fallen Order, and it'll be coming out next year or something along those lines. But actually, this game was initially revealed in May 2016 during some other Star Wars event. I didn't really look that up too much, but I do know that it was initially revealed in 2016, which essentially means that they've, at the very least, been working on this for 3 years. Most likely, they've had even more time than that in order to get into the concept stages and all of that stuff to really define the different characters and how they're going to be doing the game itself, which at least gives us a little bit more basis for like, oh, they didn't just like pull this one completely out of their asses, which is kind of like the way that it felt with the reveal that took place last year. But no, they've been working on this for some time. So what is the premise of this game? You guys might wonder, is it going to be like a live service, multiplayer type thing? No, it is going to be a single player game. It is going to be an action adventure game. So kind of like in the veins of something like Uncharted, one might say, but naturally with characters linked with the Star Wars franchise and all of that stuff. The trailer that we got to watch yesterday during the event, which if you were watching live, you might have been in my Twitch live stream. We were there, we were watching this stuff live, and I was reacting live. I saw the whole conversation, but most of the conversation that took place in the stage was talking about the story of the game itself, and that is not really something that I want to delve too deep into because I feel that nowadays trailers and even just like discussions about video game tend to reveal more about the story of the game itself than I wish they did, because a lot of times you then end up playing the game and you're like, oh wow, I know the whole plot already because I watched a couple of trailers, which can be a little bit frustrating. But to give you guys the basic idea of what they talked about in terms of story, the very, very basic ideas, like this takes place after Order 66 was executed, which for those of you that don't really follow Star Wars at all and you haven't watched Revenge of the Sith, it's basically when the Emperor says, hey, we got to kill all the Jedi. We got to just like take them out. And all of the clone troopers start taking out Jedis all over the galaxy. That's Order 66. And the main character in this game is called Cal. I forget what his last name is, but basically Cal was a Padawan at the time, and he was able to survive Order 66, but he never really finished his training in the Force, and now he's just like kind of hiding in plain sight in the middle of an Empire-ruled galaxy, and he's just trying to, he's just trying to make do. He's just trying to live his life, not raise too many waves, and so that he's not hunted down by the Empire. But an event takes place where he is forced to use the Force. That's an interesting expression. He's forced to use the Force. And the Empire naturally takes wind of that, and they start hunting him down. And that is the story that they are telling with this game. So in a lot of ways, me personally, I would be much more excited for a storyline in the vein of 1313, and this is just like me giving you my personal opinion. I know that probably a majority of people would rather have either a Jedi storyline or a Sith storyline or something along those lines, because being a Jedi in the Star Wars universe is probably the most appealing thing. I remember that when I was younger, I used to think like that too. It's like, oh man, if I was in the Star Wars universe, I wish I was a Jedi, and I wish I had Force powers and all of this other stuff. But as I grew older, I became much more seduced by the smuggler aspect of things, just being like a rogue, a space, not really a space pirate, but just like someone in space, just doing space trucking and smuggling runs and that kind of stuff. For some strange reason, that started becoming a much more appealing fantasy to me, which is like why Han Solo kind of became my favorite character in Star Wars, because of those aspects. When I played, for instance, Star Wars: The Old Republic, I actually played as the smuggler class, and I had a blast with that story. I thought that story was really awesome. But anyways, continuing onwards, I'm sure that you guys are curious to know more details about this. So one of the things that we do know is that the game is not going to have microtransactions. It is not going to have loot boxes, and no, they're not going to be adding them later. And as someone who might be quite a bit skeptical of of EA's games, I'm just always wondering what is going to be the catch. Like, there's no way, because EA themselves have said multiple times that they're not interested in working on single-player games. Not only that, but they've also stated that pretty much every studio under their umbrella is going to start using the Frostbite engine as a default so that everyone can share the technology and all of this stuff. But somehow, Respawn is able to put out Apex Legends in, I believe it's Source Engine. I'm not 100% sure what the engine is for Apex Legend at this point, but I do know for a fact that it is not Frostbite. So they're able to put out Apex Legends and not have it be Frostbite. And now they're working on a game since 2016, which is also not, I mean, I say at least 2016. They might have been working on it for longer. But that game is also not using the Frostbite engine. Kind of makes you wonder, like, what's the deal? Why does Respawn get like this preferential treatment that they can just do whatever the hell they want? But either way, I don't want to sabotage that, you know? So they're working on Unreal Engine for this particular game. That's the engine that they're going to be using. So if you guys were wondering, oh, is it going to have all the limitations that we've come to expect from EA games from the Frostbite engine? That is not going to be the case. But again, it just makes me wonder, like, what's the deal? You know, like, is this... What is special about this game that EA is able to back it from a financial standpoint, with it being a single player game with no microtransactions, no loot boxes, supposedly no weird monetization schemes one would expect? I believe that it's already been revealed that if you pre-order, you can get like some special skins for your lightsaber and maybe for your droid companion, or maybe even for the main character, but like you can get some special skins by pre-ordering the game at different retailers and whatnot. So that is in there. But I don't really believe that there is anything else at this point. Now, naturally, I think that one of the reasons why they're doing it is because this just gives them something else that they can use to push their service, the EA Origin Access Premier, very much in the same way that they did with Anthem, and they're probably doing for all of their games moving forward. If you are an EA Origin Access subscriber, you get access to this game a week ahead of time, if I remember correctly. I mean, that's what I expect. I don't know if they're going to change their policies around or what the deal is going to be, but that's what happened last time with Anthem, and I would expect this to pretty much be the same thing. So if you have EA Origin Access Premier, most likely you will be able to play this game 1 week ahead of time. Another thing that I've been considering is if this could potentially be like an experiment in the AA market, as opposed to the game having a AAA budget. Maybe it's something more in line with Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. That's something that I've been considering, because again, I find it very hard that EA would approve like a full budget single-player Star Wars game, especially considering that they canceled the Visceral Games Star Wars game that they were working on because supposedly it was going to take them too long. And I mean, you guys know the story behind that. I'm not going to be repeating that. So it's just kind of weird that Respawn Entertainment just shows up and like, yeah, we're doing our thing, and it's going to be single player. It's going to be all of that. I'm going to be getting into some more details in regards to the gameplay itself. Because there's been rumors about this game that have been leaking a while back, and some of the stuff that we heard yesterday at the reveal for the cinematic trailer that they gave us yesterday was in regards to combat, because they said this is going to be an action-adventure game. It is going to have a high focus on the combat of the game as well, and the two words that they used to describe the combat were thoughtful and impactful. Now, I don't want to be the guy that just says, that sounds a little bit like Souls, but, you know, even the rumors that have been coming out since then are actually, I've been browsing Reddit and stuff, and there's a bunch of rumors, and some people are even describing it as like, oh, it's like Sekiro, but with Star Wars, and I was like, what? That's quite specific, wouldn't you say? So interestingly enough, they have this website. They have a bunch of text blurbs in here. They have the trailer. They have you sign up their newsletter and all of that stuff. But the place where you can actually get the most information right now is on the buy page on Xbox. They have like a much bigger blurb describing the game. They say, galaxy-spanning adventure awaits in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, new third-person action-adventure title from Respawn Entertainment. There it is, action-adventure. This narratively driven single-player game puts you in the role of a Jedi Padawan, narrowly escape the purge of Order 66, like I said, following the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. On a quest to rebuild the Jedi Order, you must pick up the pieces you shattered past to complete your training, develop new powerful Force abilities, and master the art of the iconic lightsaber, all while staying one step ahead of the Empire and its deadly Inquisitors. Speaking of the lightsaber, if you pay close attention to this lightsaber, I'm pretty sure that most people have already figured this out. This seems to be a busted-up hilt of what used to be a dual-bladed lightsaber, which is why it's like chopped down at the bottom. My theory, and again, this is just like my initial theory, it's probably going to be wrong, but my theory is that, particularly according to the stuff that we see in the trailer, this lightsaber belonged to one of the Jedi that was killed during Order 66. And it's damaged because he probably crash landed his ship or whatever, or he took a beating running away and whatever reason. But basically, I assume that Cal recovers this from one of those Jedi that was slaughtered during Order 66, and somehow the story of that Jedi will come into play in some way, shape, or form. That's what I would expect. So when it comes to the key features, they talk about cinematic immersive combat, so you can expect plenty of cutscenes in the middle of your combat sections and stuff like that. New Jedi story begins. There was something that I wanted to bring up. Here we go. Innovative lightsaber combat system, striking, parrying, dodging. Does that seem familiar at all? Striking, parrying, dodging. Partnered with a suite of powerful Force abilities you'll need to leverage to overcome obstacles that stand in your way. This feels very much, I'm sorry, but it does feel like it's going to be very much like Souls combat, Sekiro combat, whatever you want to call it. Now, the other thing is that while they say action adventure, I get a feeling that you're going to get something more in line with what we've seen previously in God of War, for instance, or maybe it'll be like a full-blown open world, Ubisoft style type of game. But hopefully it'll be a lot more like God of War, because I like the fact that God of War kind of guided you along a narrow path, and then it opened up a little bit more further ahead and let you explore a little bit. And the reason I say that is because in this section here, they say, the galaxy await. Ancient forests, wind-swept rock faces, and haunted jungles are all unique biomes you'll explore in Jedi Fallen Order, with the freedom to decide when and where to go next. As you unlock new Force powers and abilities, opportunities open to retraverse maps in new ways. So a little bit of Metroidvania in there, leveraging the Force to augment the way you explore. Move quickly, however, as the Empire is actively hunting your every step in their effort to exterminate all remnants of the Jedi Order. So it definitely feels like it is going to have some open world components to it, particularly in terms of exploration. And as you unlock new Force powers, maybe it's like, oh, now you can jump more. Now you can wall run. And it was interesting to see the wall run section in the trailer, because those of you who know about Respawn Entertainment, you know that one of the things that they've done with Titanfall was the sweet wall running thing that they did. And it's almost like their signature thing that was even copied by some of the people working on Call of Duty afterwards. They were like, oh man, we should totally do that Titanfall movement shit. So yeah, they've got the chops to do that stuff. It is going to be a third-person game. It's not going to be a first-person. I say that because some people were actually wondering, is this going to be a first-person game? Like, what's the deal? Because most of the stuff that Respawn's worked on has been first person. And the thing about Respawn as well is that they do have a pretty good track record when it comes to their games, at least from my understanding. I don't really follow them too closely, but mostly when people talk about good Call of Duties, people seem to refer to as Respawn being one of the good Call of Duty developers. And then naturally you have Titanfall, which was a solid game. You have Titanfall 2, which was a fantastic game that got released in a terrible time frame. And now you have Apex Legends that a lot of people are apparently enjoying. It's not really for me because I don't really do the whole battle royale thing. But Respawn Entertainment does seem to have a good track record, which you know, some people are going to be like, you know, there just might be good tidings for this game, you know. But again, I guess the biggest thing for me is like, and this is kind of like not really that related to the game, it's just related to the concept of a studio in EA working on a game, not doing it in Frostbite engine. Like, how do they get to do this? Because like we just had the news recently from BioWare that BioWare is like, no, we're doing Frostbite. We did Frostbite for Anthem, and Dragon Age 4 is going to use the Anthem toolset with the Frostbite engine. And it just seems like most of the developers, according to the Jason Schreier articles, they freaking hate Frostbite. So I don't understand. Is it BioWare that is saying, no, guys, we're going to use Frostbite? Because I think that the big assumption from the community at large is that EA are the ones pushing Frostbite down BioWare's throats. I mean, it's definitely my interpretation of the situation. Could we be wrong? Because it'd be like EA's just like hands off, and BioWare's just, no, we're trying to suck up to EA by using their engine. I really don't understand. I'm just so confused in the middle of all this. But ultimately, it's like all things point to this actually being a solid game, apart from the fact that, you know, they're going to push, at least again, I predict they're going to push EA Origin Access Premier onto you to get that early 1 week access, which some people are going to be okay with, other people are not going to be okay with, but that's the situation that we're in right now. I don't know. Either way, you should expect a gameplay reveal at EA Play. I don't really predict that, even if they take a lot of inspiration from Souls-like combat and Sekiro and all that stuff. I don't predict them to take the same difficulty route, because that would be kind of weird. Like, I really wish they do. Like, deep inside, I'm like, yes, make it challenging, make it awesome. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like it would be in the best interest, because, you know, a Star Wars is an extremely wide appealing franchise. You can't like make a niche game for Star Wars, or can you? I don't know. Either way, I'm definitely curious to see more. How do you guys feel about the stuff that's been presented to you so far in regards to Jedi Fallen Order? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit it up with a like. If you guys are new here, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. I'll be reporting on this and other games. Stay strong, and may your shields never break.